rights of all human.
Okay. Now, can I ask a counter question on this point, please? Yeah. Tell me, doesn't NATO membership violate Minsk II? According to Minsk II, Ukraine is not allowed to join NATO. So doesn't Ukraine violate it by seeking integration and meeting with NATO officials in 2019? Question one.
No, it's lie.
Question one. Question one. Question one. 1 minute. 1 minute. 1 minute. 1 minute. 1 minute.
It's not right. There is no such provision.
Okay, I'll throw a second question at you. My Ukrainian friends should. Let me tell you, Nahailo, let me tell you one thing. Listen to me, Nahailo. The question is this. See, it's not between you and me. I'm going to ask the questions on both sides, and I can tell you this: nobody, no network in the world has fought so much for stopping the shelling and the violence in Ukraine as this network. So we are very solidly behind stopping the violence. So we'll also ask the question: tell me,
it's not violent, sir.
In October 2021,
it's not violent. It is war.
It's war, okay.
Between Russia and
it's
Ukraine.
war, it's bloodshed, it's bombing, it's pounding. I use stronger language. I agree with you.
I'm strong to name the things by their meaning. Please, this is not violent.
I agree with you.
Direct war, bloody war.
Okay, then tell me one thing. Okay, they say, the Russians are saying, Mr. Trukhan, the Russians are saying that the Ukrainians are getting very, very militarized. They are being used militarily. And my question is to you, and please hear the complete question: who violated the Minsk agreement, which is a ceasefire deal? When in October 2021, the General Staff of the Ukrainian Armed Forces confirmed that the Ukrainian military, you must hear the question. Let me, why don't, please hear the question, sir. Sir, please hear the question, sir. My question to you is, no, Mr. Trukhan, Mr. Trukhan, you haven't heard the question. Sophia, you haven't heard the question. You must hear the question. Please hear my question. My question is that in October 2021, the General Staff of the Ukrainian Armed Forces confirmed that the Ukrainian military had used the Turkish-made Bayraktar unmanned aerial vehicle, UAV, in the Lugansk People's Republic, the LPR region. So you had used the Turkish-made Bayraktar UAV. Against whom were you using the UAV? Was the use? It was a confirmation. It was a confirmation from your armed forces.
Zero. That means it was not a military attack. And now we have hundreds and hundreds of people killed by Russian weapons. You have to understand it. I actually very surprised. I have a feeling like I am on Russian TV, you know, not on Indian TV, but on Russian TV. Believe me, sir, this is not right. You are supporting bloody war, which Russia started against Ukrainian people and against Europe. I will not take part in this show. I will not take part. Bye-bye. Talk with your Russian stupid friends.
Okay, I can see that. That's no problem. I'm asking a question here. Can everybody be on the screen, please? My question is, who is violating Minsk? Is the violation of Minsk an issue at all? Who is provoked whom? And my question to the Russians will be, my question to the Russians, I'm just coming to you. I'm coming to you, Sasha and Sophia, I'm coming to you. My question to the Russians is this: Ukraine is seeking elections in Donbass according to the 2015 agreement. Didn't Russia violate the Minsk agreements by unilaterally passing a bill in the Duma and recognizing their sovereignty? And is it or is it not true that the second Minsk II agreement in February 2015 had to be signed only because of the Russian offensive, which violated Minsk I, seizing hundreds of thousands of square kilometers? So you put a gun to the Ukrainians' head and made them sign Minsk I. My question: which of my Russian panelists would like to take that? Would Nikolai like to take that? Would Professor Gromyko like to take that? My second question to you, please, Professor Gromyko.
Well, what we are witnessing now is the incredible, show of several warmongers from Ukraine, whom are so keen to torpedo the diplomatic talks So the representatives of Ukraine now are going through a very difficult task while meeting with their Russian counterparts to find some compromises, to find common solutions. And what we hear now is a deluge of insults, of trying to, gag your opponents. This is, very ridiculous, but a dramatic picture. All these things about bombing and shelling of kindergartens and schools, it's pathetic. It's so pathetic that if such kind of people, are led to hold these talks, then for sure, 200% that the war will never stop. And now, just to try to answer your question, if you turn to the monitoring mission of the OSCE, to their maps, for example, from the 18th, from the 19th, from the 20th of February, and if you look at these maps, you will see what a heavy shelling the OSCE monitoring mission registered from the Ukrainian forces on the territory of
it's
Donbass.
It's a total lie.
So all this, silly talk on the Russia aggressor with this very, noisy all these insults. Turchinov today said in Kiev that we should purify our country from Russians, and not just on the territory of Ukraine, but in Russia. And Turchinov, as an acting president, was the person who sent the first time in 2014 the Ukrainian army to Donbass. So he began the war. And then Poroshenko for the second time.
Okay, we are getting.
You remember that?
I'd like a response. No, 1 second, Professor Gromyko from Kiev. I have 3 very restless panelists. All of them want to come in. Who goes in first? 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. Who responds first? Who responds first?
May I?
This is just silly. This is
okay. Who responds? Okay, I'll let Sofia go. But Sofia, if you can keep it brief, because Sasha hasn't spoken for a long time. And then first Sofia, then Sasha, then I'll come to Sofia, please. Yeah, Sofia, and then
once
again,
Nahalo. When we mention Minsk, when we mention different negotiations, when we mention the demands of the terrorist country of Moscow Federation, we have to remember Ukraine was a peaceful country. On the 20th of February 2014, Moscow troops invaded the sovereign territory of Ukraine, Crimean Peninsula. They killed people there. They took over power. They started repressions, deportations, and imprisonment of the local nationality, Crimean Tatars. People had to escape there. In March and April, they started the invasion to Donetsk and Luhansk region. And on the summer 2014, they started to shell Ukraine with multiple rocket launchers that came from regular forces of Moscow Federation. They shoot into the plane MH17. And we know that Moscow Federation is guilty in killing people. But Minsk Agreements 1 was signed after the bloodshed that Moscow Federation created in Ilovaisk. Minsk Agreement 2 was signed after the bloodshed Moscow Federation created in Debaltsevo, when they promised the corridor for the soldiers. They promised the corridors without shooting, and they killed hundreds of Ukrainian soldiers that were not protecting even themselves. So don't dare Moscow propagandists to talk about Minsk. You invaded our country.
I'd like to go to Sasha. I'd like to go to Sasha right now. Sasha, please. Yes.
Yeah, because
Sasha.
Sorry, I need to go to bomb shelter because here I'm here is this usual place and it's bombing now. So I just asking you, just Ukrainian, it's really peaceful place where you can come in. Where you can come in, just like for any one of you in international mission, we can show in all the territory which we exactly control. And no one of international mission can go to the territory which control by Russia Federation last 8 years. Sorry, I need to go because it's really shelling here. So I just
please stay safe.
You're a place.
Stay safe, Sasha.
You're a place where it has the biggest democracy in the world. You're a place where Mahatma Gandhi was born. I'm just asking you, it's really for all the people who love the peace, just not here in Russia Federation, just come in and look your own eyes. Thank you. I need to go. Bye-bye.
Take care. Take care.
Please stay safe, Sasha. Please stay safe. And I'd like to go quickly to Bahdan Nahalo, if you'd like to say something as well, because, the fact is we can keep talking about who's responsible, who's violating MISTs, what did Ukraine do in the past, what has Russia done, but the bombing is now by the Russians. I mean, that's the point. That has to stop. I think that's the only fundamental point we need to come to. Yes, Bohdan.
Look, don't mislead people. It's not bombing. It's an invasion. The Russians have invaded Ukraine. They are shelling many cities, not just Kyiv. And ask your 8,000 Indian students who are being evacuated what they saw. Ask them what they experienced. Ask them how they were treated by the Ukrainians. And ask them who is guilty in this. Take the Russian forces out. Give us the damages, reparations to the families, to the infrastructure. You'll be paying for tens of years. To repair the damage you've created to Ukraine. You'll never return the people you've killed. Look at these pictures that on Indian TV now in Berdyansk that you say you liberated. People are saying, get out of here, go invaders. We don't want you. These are Russian-speaking Ukrainians. Do you notice, Professor Propagandist, what you're watching there? Look, Berdyansk, your Russian killers are being told by Russian-speaking Ukrainians, get out of here. We don't want you in Ukraine. Get out of here. You're not liberators. You're invaders, imperialists, acting as 19th century, imperialists did. The days of empire are over. Grow up, be a European country, not some kind of atavistic 19th century imperialist. I mean, who do you have in the Kremlin? Is it Nero fiddling while Kyiv burns? Is it Hitler? Who are you dealing with? Listen to your intelligentsia, to your scientists who are telling you this is meaningless and it's going to destroy Russia. With the sanctions, you've shot yourself in the foot. You've isolated yourself. You're a pariah. The world is ashamed of you. You should be kicked out of the Security Council just because you have nuclear weapons to wave. But what kind of country, what civilizational values do you represent? Killers. Imperialists, professors who back that line.
Does isolation not
disgusting. I would never send my children to study with you.
Yes, I should agree that the war is not a method of making settlements. It's quite clear when our colleagues from Kyiv and from Barcelona, as I see, accuse us with Professor Gromyko and me. We are scientists. We are, let's say, peaceful people. We are not politicians. And you are accusing us of doing this very bad things.
You're accomplices.
I can tell you that I participate in so-called political show on our first TV channel, second TV channel, and stand with line with Ukrainian experts. You see, I am not against Ukrainian experts. I shall together. What do you want from us for the time being? What will my vision?
The truth.
I keep. Sorry. I didn't interrupt you. Sorry, I didn't interrupt you. Please calm down. Please calm down.
The truth we want from you. The truth. Not propaganda, not fake news, not Russia Today. We want the truth. You are accomplices to murder. You are accomplices to murder.
Please listen to me.
Do you hear me? You are accomplices to murder. What would Sakharov have said? What would Solzhenitsyn have said? What would Herzen have said?
I can't hear you.
What? With killers, you don't behave yourself properly. Condemn the killing, and I will speak to you as a civilized human being. If you speak, if you are supporting killers, you don't deserve to have respect. You don't deserve respect. You don't deserve respect. You are killers. You are killers.
I listen to you. It's not the method of
you are killers.
You see, it's
you are killers. You are killers.
It's not the method.
Get out of Ukraine. You are killers.
Let's hear him also, please.
Ukraine is not Chechnya where you are with your time.
Please hear Nikolai.
Ukraine is not Chechnya.
I want to stop for.
Please hear Nikolai. He heard you.
I'm not killing anybody. I'm not killing anybody. Why you accuse me of I'm not doing? It's not my
You are an
obligation,
accomplice. You are an accomplice. You are backing a regime that is killing my people. You are an accomplice, right? So is Gromyko. You are propagandist. So is that American traitor. You are accomplice to murder, to war crimes.
It's very easy. Be in Barcelona.
Your accomplice is to work war crimes. Remember what Solzhenitsyn told you. Don't live by the lie. Don't live by the lie.
Nikolai, please. Then I can close. Nikolai, please.
Absolutely, it's not possible to hold discussion in such a way. Absolutely.
Nikolai.
Then you see President Zelensky.
No, you can't bomb cities and expect to speak about, no, I don't respect your rights. You are a killer. You are an accomplice.
You came to
You're an
kill
accomplice.
on Ukrainian territory.
So is that American traitor?
That's it.
That's it. You are the killers. Right. And that is the question. It's easy to stop the war. Just take away your own personal troops.
Guy in Spain.
Okay, I think there are heated tempers on both sides. I understand completely. And all I'd say is that the only way for talks to be successful is for the bombings to end.
There is murder and there are civilians being killed. There is
right and wrong, and whatever word you use for it, the bombing has to stop.
To come to Ukraine and to feel and to sit in the shelters and to see the documents of their own soldiers coming to kill Ukrainians. They can see everything by their own eyes, but they can see that after they stop watching Putin propaganda. Everything is quite open. Everything has evidence, and that is the direct way to the tribunal.
Sophia, 1 minute. No, I'll get a view from John, please. Thank you. John, one last word, John.
Yeah. So look, I don't have a dog in this fight. I just want to show you guys something real quick. This is me in Kiev in 2015, hanging out with the troops.
Yeah, the question, what are you doing in Moscow? What you do in Moscow? What you do in Moscow? You work for Putin.
I'm an IT consultant, okay? I'm an IT consultant.
No, you're working for Putin. Now, if you're IT, you should be wise. But I can see that you're stupid because you're working for Putin.
And hacking American systems.
You're highly paid.
See, you people...
by Putin. You are paid by Putin to protect Putin, as I understand.
Americans like you,
I wish. You guys can have access to my bank account. You can see how little I make. I don't make anything
If you work for Putin, you will not have accounts anymore.
My point is, there's right and there's wrong. Okay, there's right and there's wrong. You guys can't let me talk because you can't have a valid response. You can't let me talk because you don't have a valid response. Ukraine has been building bioweapons. Ukraine has been building bioweapons labs from the Department of Defense money for years.
Go back to America and face the music.
No.
Go face your people.
15 bioweapons labs in
Don't be a
Ukraine
hero in
with
Moscow
Department of Defense
for Russian money.
We need to protect ourselves.
Look, fat boy from
we don't want to hear this traitor. Why is he representing Russia? Get us a Russian Democrat.
You're a loser,
Get us a Russian Democrat to speak. Why is an American traitor representing Moscow on your TV show?
Okay. I'm going to close this with a big thank you to all our guests out there. And ladies and gentlemen, as I thank my guests, Let me just say this at once, that at this moment, Russia has upped the stakes. We're getting the news of what happened in the talks. A nuclear triad is on standby. The West cannot put the onus of resolving this conflict on Ukraine alone anymore. It doesn't make any sense. From Boris Johnson to Joe Biden to the rest of the NATO nations, the time to talk to Putin is now. The world cannot risk a third world war to massage the ego of the West. Here are the updates, and then we debate.
In just 5 days, Ukraine has transformed into a full-fledged war zone.
This is the fourth site that we have basically come to, starting from the first day itself, where we saw Alexander, the first area, a residential area which came under attack. What's become very evident right now is that Russian army certainly targeting these residential areas.